Really, the treatment was terrible. The food, the whole camp was smelling from old lamb, you know, very bad. The joint was helping by giving us some bread and some fruits, most of this, some grapes, and cigarettes, which I didn't smoke.
Now tell us, let's go on and tell us the circumstances for leaving Cyprus and the arrival in Israel.
A short time after I was in Cyprus, this lady, which I stayed with, insisted that I go to other camp. We went to have vaccinations. And she said, why don't you change your shoes? Why don't you put in this dress? And I didn't understand why she wanted to make me so elegant. And then after we had the vaccination, she said, would you go with me to the next camp? I have a Hungarian friend there. So I went with her and with her little girl. And when I come there, they brought in Bernard, which is my husband, and introduced me.
I see.
And after 2 weeks, we got married.
Oh, I see.
So it was a quick decision. But I remember what my sister-in-law was telling me. She was telling me, so if you get married and you get married good and happy, it's good. If not, instead two unhappy people, better four happy people. So I was start to think, I'm going to go by myself. He looked very good. He was very good looking. He was a very gentleman. And we didn't have a common language. It was very difficult. But we adjusted ourselves. And the reason we got married so quick, see, I got the possibility to leave. Because all of a sudden they said that the girls can leave, but the men not, because of the army. So he said, you want to leave and wait for me, or you want to get married? So I said, well, if I leave, I don't promise I'm going to wait. Because we both had nothing, you know. So he said, so why I'm not going to let you leave and we're going to get married. And we had a real nice wedding right there in the camp. And we stayed till Israel become independent. As soon as Israel become independent, we left to Israel. And Bernard went first, and I stayed 2 days there at the point where we arrived. And then we went to Israel to a cousin of Bernard's. And my sister sent me some money with somebody else, which I sold. I had some gold pieces and some dollars. And we were thinking we are very rich, but at this time, the Israeli pound, you had to give $3 and you got less than 1 Israeli pound. So actually, what we were thinking, we have lots of money, wasn't a lot. And now comes the question, if we get a house, apartment to stay, and I was pregnant 3 months, or we are going to get a store. So I said, no, I'm tired of wandering around not to have a house. So Bernard said, okay, you think. For the house, we wouldn't have a store. For the store, we would have a house. So I figured he's right. In the morning, I said, okay, we take the store. We took us a big store. We had to borrow some money to this cousin, one man, which was a single man. He loaned us some money too, and we rented. There you had to give key money to rent. Let's say you pay $3,000. If you stay there just 1 year, you get $2,000 back, but if you stay longer, then you get nothing back. This was at this time, the arrangements.
What city were you in?
In Ramat Gan.
Ramat Gan.
Yes, it's a beautiful city. It's still beautiful. Now Ramat Gan is a kind of one unified with Tel Aviv. Before it was a big distance between Ramat Gan and Tel Aviv, but now it's built up. And we divided the store. I made a big drapery. One area, the first area in the store was 2 stories high. And in the back was just one height. So we divided this in 2, and then we built a room upstairs. And we opened a store of dresses. And upstairs we lived. This is where I had my first baby. And then we rented a house. From there we went out and rented a house. And the house had humidity. And I can stand, I'm not allergic to anything, but when it comes to mildew, I just cannot stand the smell. And then I find my cousin come from Jerusalem. I had a cousin, which he was like the right hand to Ben Gurion. And he come, he wanted to loan me some money to get apartment, but I wouldn't get money from anybody. So he told me that the director of the bank is a friend of my father's. So I went to him and he loaned us money and we bought an apartment right the same place where the store was. Right away. It took 15 minutes he loaned us money for the apartment because there you had to pay cash. It was not that you paid payments. So naturally we paid up everything and opened the store. And we opened from very little, but we worked 20 hours and 24 hours. We had there, at this time was private citizen been policing at night, 4 hours. They've been changing every 4 hours in policing. So we had people coming in asking us where you slept. We went by 2 hours before, and you've been working, and we come now, you're working. And Bernard said, well, sometimes 2 hours of sleep is good too. And then after we bought the apartment, I had already somebody taking care of my daughter. And I said, soon we come in. I sent Bernard to Tel Aviv. I just didn't find myself there because there's people from all over the world and all kind of people. And I told Bernard, since he had Felix in the United States, I told him, go to the American consul and register, because if you register, we may get a visa to go. So he went, he was going for business to Tel Aviv, and he come back and he says, it's a line of 3 blocks, and the quota is 3.5 years till we can get a visa. I said, well, if you go, 3 years will go by, but if you don't go, it would never go by. Well, meantime, I had other child, and we got settled, and we moved in the main street in the store, and we were doing really nice. And Bernard went to visit Felix to Columbia, South Carolina. And when he come here, he was just amazed. He just loved it here. And he wrote me a letter, and he said, I find out a possibility that we can move to the United States if you still wanted to. Mm-hmm. Well, at this time we had an apartment and we had a store, in one of the nicest stores, but I still wanted to come here. So I told him, you don't come back, you stay there, and I will sell everything and come. So he worked for Lurie's department store, and I sold the apartment and the merchandise and the store, and it took a year till we got the papers. And then we come here.
Here in Columbia.
To Columbia, South Carolina.
And
yes.
you've lived here since
And when I come here, Bernard already had bought a house and furnished the house on Putnam Street. And when I come here, we're trying to go in the same business that we've been in Israel, in a dress store. And was here a store, Elizabeth Wolf, and she moved to a new store. So we were going to take this store, but did need a lot of remodeling. And we asked him for 3 months free of rent till we remodel, which he didn't accept. In the meantime, Bernard's brother Felix, which lived here, find out that there's a motel for sale. He did some work for them, and he find out they wanted to sell. So he come and told Bernard, and they went and bought the motel. And since then, we are still in motel business. And our children we have 2 children, which one is Esther Gordon. She's married. She lives in Boston. Her husband is an attorney. She has 2 children. One finishes now high school, and one is still in high school. And I have one son here, which is Norman, and he's married and has 3 children. Yeah. And we are very happy here, and if we do have some regrets is that we are not born here, didn't live our whole life here, which many people here don't know to appreciate. And I know people which never went 100 miles away from Columbia and never are interested to go to see the country here, but want to go to France, to Germany, to Italy, and not to the country when it's such a beautiful country.
Well, Luba, I want to thank you so much for coming and sharing your story with us.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate giving me the opportunity.
You're quite welcome.
Thanks.
Thank you.